We got a Chinese manufacturer that makes shoes that are world-class, super fast. This is the Li-ning Feidian Ultra 3.
Yeah.
And you've tested it out?
I've done some testing in this shoe. I've ran multiple faster workouts in them already, and I'm pretty satisfied with this model.
Yeah, and we've had Li-ning for a little bit over a year, right?
Yeah, and we've had 3 different shoes before this one.
The Feidian Elite, the Challenger, and the Discovery, right? No, and we have the 4th one as well.
Yeah. The Shadow.
Shadow, yeah. So we have a lot of shoes.
We've had 4 shoes before this one.
Yeah. This is the new that's making some waves on the race scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This was the shoe that this September last year got a bronze medal in Berlin Marathon, which made quite some waves because people were like, what is he wearing? And then a couple of weeks ago in Copenhagen, it swept the podium on the men's side, and it was also on the feet of the fastest woman. It's definitely a fast shoe.
And we know that as well. We actually tested Li-ning last year, and it did just as well as the Vaporfly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's proven on race courses as well.
Well, let's talk about the upper. It seems very see-through.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's very, very see-through. It's actually a pretty solid mesh, but it's just ultra thin. It seems pretty durable. It snugs my foot.
Snugs your foot, yeah. It seems like some kind of like a hybrid. So you have a little bit of a static thing, and then you have a little bit of elastic thing.
Exactly.
And still just a tiny bit of padding here in the back.
Yeah.
For some comfort as well.
So it sits nice on your foot, and I actually haven't thought about it while I was running, and for me that's the best thing you can say about an upper.
Exactly. And for those who want that, there's a loop here as well.
Yeah.
Now the midsole looks a little bit different than previous models.
It does. There is more stack in this one than in the previous models.
Yeah. And it has the boom, 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 boom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's full P-backs made, so it's pretty responsive, but still soft. And I feel like the extra stack height gives you an upper hand on the last few miles on the marathon. I've raced in the Feidian Elite, a couple of marathons and some half marathons, and I can feel when I'm putting this on that this extra stack height would have given me something in the end of the marathons.
This one also has a feature that we haven't seen before in a Li-ning shoe.
We've seen something similar to it with the Shadow that has this big hole cut out in the midsole, but this has this small hole, and it's actually not. It's not all the way through. I can't see you right now, Lars.
No, so it's a little bit firmer right in the middle here, and then softer on the sides.
It gives you some stability in the corners, and it makes for a sweet spot where you really want to land and toe off.
For me, this looks like just a different way of thinking about it compared to the Feidian Elite 3. That one had like this little bulge here that still felt like you had a little bit firmer piece that you could bounce off of, and this seems like a different way of doing it.
And of course it has a carbon plate in it, which gives it some springiness and some stability.
And overall the weight is super low.
It's 206 grams in my US size 9.
On the outsole,
a decent amount of rubber for a race shoe, I would say. Gives you a nice grip. We've had good weather here in Denmark, so I've only been testing it in sunshine, so I don't know how it'll last in the rain, but the other Li-ning shoes I've tried have had a good grip in the rain, so I expect the same thing with this one.
And people who don't know Li-ning, I wouldn't know Li-ning, but a lot of Danish people know Li-ning because they've made a lot of badminton shoes and stuff like that.
They're
and
also
they're really big.
Yeah, and they're also really big in basketball.
Yeah, and just generally in China. Yeah, and just generally in China, right? So this is a trusted, really good manufacturer that makes probably one of the best shoes in the world.
Yeah, this is definitely a very, very fast shoe.
Yeah, and you can buy it on runningexpert.com.
Boom!